Well, what is 5G? Well, at a time when 2024 now, what is 5G? Do we really need to ask? We've got an MP, Andrew Bridgen, writing to the Chief Constable about misconduct in public office to commit attempted murder, assault from actors operating within the British government. And we're now still talking about what 5G is. So anyway, I had a video sent to me yesterday that's being promoted by an organisation who should know better, who should ask what is 5G, instead of promoting a complete and utter falsehood, a deception on the general population. I'm not going to name them, but a lot of people will know who I'm talking about. Absolutely outrageous. An organisation who've never covered 5G, never spoke about the actualities of 5G, and have now given a platform for something that's totally erroneous and not correct. I'm going to try and correct that disinformation today. First and foremost, we need a base. We need a reference point. So this is 1G, 2G, 3G, and 4G masts, which basically 3G, 4G is the main mast there. Now, the rest have fell away. And closest to these masts, so you've got a value on the bottom in meters. So the closer you are to a mast, the increase in depth. And this is 4G. Okay, so the closer you get to your mast, it goes up to about 1,000 meters, and then it drops off to the natural number, right? The general mortality rate in the general population. However, what's not spoken about is the sickness and ill health, because electromagnetic radiation is an immune system suppressor. So if you're going to get the flu, it's going to get worse. If you're going to get pneumonia, it's going to be worse. If whatever you have, Crohn's, Parkinson's, cancers, all gets worse the closer you are to those masts. Okay, it's an immune system suppressor. So this is what baseline. So let's now talk about 5G. So here we have your 4G transmitter, operates inverse square law, and at 1,000 meters, these levels of radiation are infinitesimally small, as you can imagine, operating on inverse square law. So infinitesimally small, but at 30 mile, I can still get a signal from this mast. All right. Now I'll get a little bit more output on my mobile device to do the connection. However, I'll still get a emission to that mast at about 30 miles. Obviously, depends on the environment, you know, rain, smog, and all the rest of it. There's a number of environmental factors, but I can basically, so I can get to an infinitesimally small amount of radiation from this mast, and I can still get a signal for my device. Okay. Now, 5G, something completely different. The antenna design, this is the IEE, by the way, the Institute of Electrical and Electronic Engineers. So their definition of 5G is beamforming an antenna that can focus a signal at a target. Yeah. Now, the video I watched yesterday is a chap standing down next to one of these masts, 5G masts, and he's measuring the radiation from it. Well, what he's measuring is side lobe leakage and possibly some other antennas on that mast, on that monopole, which are 3G and not 5G, because 5G specifically beams a very compressed directional energy beam at a target. He's definitely not measuring that. You can't measure that. He may be getting some side lobe leakage, but he's not measuring. See, so his understanding of 5G is about zero, which is quite concerning, because the people who promoted it, their understanding of 5G is most certainly not zero, because they've seen me talk about this on several occasions. They're very concerning. So you've got this beamform technology, which here's an image in Liverpool. You've got 3 of these 5G transmitters together. Here's some more of the paraphernalia. This one's beamed at the ground. You'll find several elements, right? You could have 30, 40, 50, 60 elements in there beaming, offset the signal at a target, same as these. All right. Some of this will be telecommunications, and some of it's actually 5G. You'll see how I don't put the two together. So here we have a 5G tower, directional. We've also got them talking to street furniture talking to cars, autonomous vehicles, all interconnected. Here you have 4G, once again, operating inverse square law, and the 5G definition. I'm just trying to reinforce this because it's really important. So anybody trying to measure a 5G signal on the ground here is not measuring it. Do you see where I'm coming from? Right. Here we have these large MIMO 5G transmitters beaming at targets on the ground. Okay. Here we have Nokia's document, which states clearly, right, thousands of customers can be serviced, right, in the sub-gig 800 megahertz spectrum, right, and we had 868 were found in the street furniture, part of the micro 5G network, hundreds of square miles. So you've got hundreds of square miles footprint with just one tower. Okay, and that's the lowest band spectrum. So these are very penetrating in the built-up urban environment. That's what you would require, so your target can't get away from you. And that's what I really want with 5G, because that's what 5G is all about, isn't it? Getting a service to a target. We had GCHQ warning of extremely dangerous risks of 5G technology. Okay, but we just saw a video yesterday where somebody says it's perfectly all right. I think these GCHQ guys know what I know. This was in 2018 when they took me to court to try and gag us. Failed demonstrably. Chinese face 5G ban over spying, fears, backhauling. Yeah, can spy on you without any shadow of a doubt. They can interrogate all mobile devices, smart meters. They're all interconnected, by the way, so they can spy on you 24/7. Here's some street furniture that was in Newcastle in the West End, large migrant area. The intelligence agencies or police or whoever it is who've put this equipment up, audio able, by the way, they're not really concerned about your health. They're spying on you, and they haven't taken into consideration the detrimental health effects, the cancers, the Parkinson's, and all the other ailments that the general population will suffer from exposure to these very, very high-powered, dangerous, illegal spying types of technology. Here's a Harvard technology piece of elements, the ones I got removed from Gateshead. Anybody thinks that's a light, you've got mental health problems. That's, I'm just going to say it straight out. If you think that looks like a street light, you've got mental health issues. Here we have the infrastructure where we're causing a beam in air. Now, you have to remember, if that beam in air, if I get enough stacked photons in air, over about 10, 13 electron volts, sometimes a little bit less than that, depending on environmental factors and spectrum, etc., you can cause ionization in air. Now, we all know that ionizing radiation is dangerous. All know it's dangerous, right? And that roughly comes at about 10 electron volts. ICNIRP's guideline is 61. It's 61 electron volts. So it's nearly 6 times over. If I beam it, if this was ICNIRP compliant, and I beamed it by cause of the focality, the photons, stacking of the photons, I cause ionization at over 10 electron volts. And ICNIRP's guideline for this equipment 61. So that's 6 times over. Here we have a Telensa unit. It's got an aperture in the plate lens here. It has a focality. What's really concerned about this bit of it's got a supercapacitor here. It has a relay, a 3,300 watt. It's basically a switch. So I can switch on and off and beam down there, pulse modulated emission, probably a little bit less than the 3,300 watts. But that's quite a large amount of power. This is the equipment I got removed from Gateshead. High gain dielectric lens, got a small teardrop on the end. The intelligence agencies didn't like that. I got trolled quite a bit, as you do when you discover that your local authority have fitted a weapon system on top of you. They didn't like that. Here we have eco-friendly 5G. Well, 5G is about taking energy off the grid and sticking it in air. So you can see though a lot more transmitters use a lot more energy and create a lot more sickness, ill health, and death in their local area, all part of a depopulation agenda. They're starting to find out what 5G really is. Well, you see, here's the densification pattern. So you've got a transmitter that's got over 100-mile footprint, right? Far more powerful, 100-mile footprint, but the one every half a kilometer. Your 4G was every 2 kilometers and your 3G was every 10. Now, I remember when they had 3G, and I didn't have too much trouble getting a mobile signal. I mean, there was some areas now, even with this, you have problem getting a signal. So what is it? What have they actually installed? Have you worked it out yet? Well, if you haven't worked it out yet, let's read this. 5G debuts at Winter Olympics as ball repellent, so it shoots rays. Well, it does. It's a directional beam wave, right? It shoots waves at targets, and trying to measure them would be like looking for a needle in a haystack. What I can tell you, at 10 electron volts, it's ionizing radiation in air, not non-ionizing radiation, even though it operates non-ionizing radiation spectrum. It's how a laser cuts stainless steel. That's non-ionizing, cuts straight through stainless steel. That's quite interesting, isn't it? Here we have the technicalities of the Chinese equipment and how the base station amplifiers, right, will run at maximum level for the attack. Okay. So how you do that, all right, you've got typical, you've got 100 watts each transmitter. You've got 64 of them, which then increases that to 68 dBm, which is 6,400 watts. Okay. You then offset, you do an interference pattern, you create the beamforming by phased array, which is 18 dB, and a total EIRP power will be a maximum of 86 dBm, 389,000 watts. A milliwatt, a thousandth of a watt, is 61 electron volts. At 10 electron volts are cause ionization in air. So you can see what 389,000 watts potentially can be. Well, I can tell you what it is. It's a direct energy weapon. We have criminals installing directional weapons on top of you in your streets and across the United Kingdom in large numbers. If I wanted to kill you, right, I need as much as 4.2 watts. 4.2 watts in a beam shot at a person can kill them, okay? And we have, let's go back to it, we have directional weapons installed 389,000 watts. Now, I shouldn't have to be doing this again. The reason I'm doing it is because somebody sent us a video yesterday, right? Willful, well, it's willful ignorance or just silliness. I'm not really sure, but outrageous, saying that 5G masts seem to be safe when you've got a spectrum analyzer and you're metering them at the base. Nothing could be further from the truth. Havana syndrome likely caused by pulse microwave energy. CIA operatives over the years have been attacked with these directional weapon systems. They're so sophisticated, hard to see. Consequently, US assets attacked, possibly by that one side, to test their weapons, because I wouldn't be surprised at all. I mean, it's a bit of a cover, isn't it? You attack your own diplomats. That would be quite handy with your electrical weapons programs. What 5G is? 5G is fifth generation warfare. This is a 360i intelligence, joint intelligence, surveillance and reconnaissance document talking about civilian populations being the next target. Anybody that doesn't get that, what I can't understand is that I'm still in 2024 with everything that's happened over forced injections, over 5G deployments during lockdown, and we've still got organisations putting out videos, encouraging people to watch videos that are totally incorrect and deceptive when it comes to what 5G is.